Hi, and welcome to a new episode of Foodicracy for Her. I'm Kalyan Karmakar, and today it's my pleasure and honor to bring to you the story of Inderpreet Nagpal. She's joining me from
Hi.
Mumbai. She's joining me from Mumbai. Hi, Inderpreet. And if you might remember,
Yeah.
we had spoken sometime back during Baisakhi, and she had
Yes.
spoken to me about the culture of Baisakhi, which she'd grown up around, because she's an Amritsar girl. She's been in Mumbai for 12, 13 years post marriage, Pune before that, but originally an Amritsar girl, right?
Originally from Amritsar, born and brought up there, studied there, everything.
And the
Left
people of
Amritsar because of marriage. Yeah.
yeah, so did you भाग के शादी किया या like properly?
नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं, arranged marriage.
No, because you said I left Amritsar because of marriage. I
It's
thought that's
actually
very.
you can say भाग के सीधा पुणे आ गई. No, no. Typically arranged marriage.
And Pune is the extreme opposite of Amritsar because Amritsar is the
Extreme,
Punjabis
yeah,
and fake, and Pune is like
absolutely.
Maharashtrian, conservative, very
So
value
it was
conscious, and
very, very,
culture
difficult
shock.
and different for me. Very big culture shock. So there, all the neighbors and the neighbors are
In
there all the
Amritsar.
time for you in
Huh.
Amritsar. In Pune, you don't know who's your neighbor, and if they open the door also like this much, and then okay, bye bye, done.
And that too, not in the afternoon. Not in the
No,
afternoon.
not at all.
Afternoon, the shops are also shut.
Yeah, yeah. Pune too that way is very lazy. They like close 1 to 5. No, nobody should go there and nobody should disturb them.
But yeah, I must tell you, when I was growing up in Calcutta, so when we came into Calcutta in early 1980s, so at that time, I think till almost maybe 1990 or so, all the local grocery shops, kirana shops, what we call the mudi dokan, they would be shut in the afternoon. And their logic was that there are hardly any customers who come in the afternoon, and it's hot,
Yeah,
not air conditioned, and of course they're
yeah.
Bengali. So
Yeah, when I went to Calcutta, even I saw some places. They were like
were you
like
staying there or on a holiday?
no, I just went for a holiday. My friend was there that time, and then I
Uh,
just went for 1 week just to roam around. My
yeah.
husband studied there, and they
Oh, okay.
stayed there for a few years. And he always used to talk about Calcutta, so I said, fine,
Yeah.
I'll go and check.
Yeah. No,
He
and
loves Calcutta.
he sometimes tweets about Calcutta.
He loves Calcutta.
His Twitter handle is Joy and Life, right? Joy.
Joy and life. Yes, joy
Yeah.
and
So
life.
sometimes when
Yeah.
the late Anak Desai also would worked in Calcutta for
Yes,
a while, so sometimes we would all
yes.
talk about Calcutta and Joy
Yeah.
and Life. Your husband would also.
Yeah, he loves
And,
Calcutta. Given a choice, he can go today and live there. Yeah.
and did your friend stay in Bhawanipur by any chance? Because that's where a lot of
I don't
Sikhs in
remember
particular.
now. It's been years. I don't remember now where I went. I remember I went to Fleury's because that was the top
Oh.
of the list of my husband that you have to go there.
Yes, yes. Sometimes it's
Yeah,
more nostalgia, but
it is.
that's fine. I
It
also
is.
try not to miss a foodie trip. Okay, now before we get waylaid by Calcutta and Amritsar and all that,
Yeah.
so Foodocracy for Her is where I was since last May 2020. I've been every week speaking to women in the F&B industry and who've been doing some really amazing work. And Inderpreet, who's also known as Rami by her friends. Rami, right? Not Rumi.
Yes.
I
No,
used to
no.
think it is
It's
Rumi, but
Rami.
it's Rami.
I know a lot of people call me Rumi. It's Rami.
So I actually have known her for maybe 4 5 years, if not more. And first, with we'd gone to her house. At that time, she was staying in Bandra, same locality where I do now. That's different. And I think that's when she was first exploring the home chef venture, maybe more than 4 5 years.
More
And
than that, it's I
yeah,
think 10
yeah,
years back. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
I
It's
interviewed
been a
Gitika
long
Saikia.
time.
I
Yes.
interviewed Gitika Saikia a few weeks back.
Mm.
So they all started at the same time. Then I think you also at that time. So yeah, like
Yeah.
you said, 8 to 10 years back, and we went there, and there was this lovely Punjabi meal which she had
It was
cooked,
a Punjabi pop-up.
and
Yeah.
also there were all these Punjabi pickles you'd made, including, if I
Yes.
remember right, there was a mutton pickle. Uh,
Yes. So I do make all traditional Punjabi pickles and a lot of other pickles also. like
Hmm.
grapes and apple and pineapple, and like most of the fruits and most of the vegetables I converted into a
But
pickle. So,
the fruits, are they more like what we know as jams and chutneys, or are they
no,
like spicy
no,
pickles?
they're pickles. Yeah. I
Ah, and
do make preserves and all, jams also.
uh,
Those
like
jams are also like if it's a black grape jam, it's with pepper. So all
uh,
my jams are with some or the other spice, but fruit pickles are actually pickles with mustard oil and all the pickle spices in that.
and are these your innovations or are these traditional
These are
things?
all no, these are all my innovations. It I see some vegetable or new fruit in the market, and I feel that I should try that as a pickle. So
Wow.
yeah, I do make all. I have some 100+ variety of pickles.
And before you thought that Indrapreet being from I don't, should I call you Indrapreet? Should I call you Rami? I don't know. Like
You
I
can
think
call me
Indrapreet.
Rami. Okay,
Okay.
fine.
No, I'll call you
Whatever.
Indrapreet because just Rami, I mean, doesn't come off my tongue that easily. Like for
Yeah.
example, my Bengali name would be Kullan, which might be a bit
Uh-huh.
difficult. So Rumi would be okay, but
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
I'll
no
stick to
problem.
Indrapreet. So you might think that since you're talking of Amritsar and then first meal was Punjabi pickles and all of that, you would think that she's all about Punjabi food, which is great. But no, like for example, this very week, I think during the week she was doing a Sri Lankan menu through the week, and this weekend she's doing a English brunch, right?
English brunch, yes. Saturday,
And
Sunday, I'm doing English brunch.
yeah, and then sometimes suddenly there are Singaporean crabs, and there's this, that. So there's lots and lots of stuff. But to start it in the beach, just to get an idea of your early food influences, I mean, how was it in Amritsar? Was it very cosmopolitan, or was it more about Punjabi food? Was it more about home cooked food? Was there someone who inspired you, like in the family? Tell us a bit about baby Inderpreet and her early food memories.
So, so Amritsar is typical Amritsar food. You
I
don't
know.
get much of variety there. When we were growing up, the maximum variety was Chinese, and that also very limited, like American chefs,
Chinese or
American
Punjabi?
chops. Yeah.
Because in fact, Veer Sangvi, I think, calls it Ludhianvi Chinese,
Yes. Yeah, so
something like that.
it was there the American chop suey,
Uh,
Hakka noodles, and Manchurian. These three,
uh,
four things in Chinese means Chinese for us. It
of
was
course.
Chinese for us, yeah.
All of us while growing up, yes.
Yeah, and it's not a cosmopolitan city at all. You People there eat simple food, and going out and eating out is very reasonable there. So it's sometimes people there feel that cooking at home is much more expensive than buying a simple dal from
Oh,
outside. It is. It
wow.
is.
That's
Yeah.
the way it is in the Far East, like in Bangkok,
Yeah.
Singapore, and no one cooks at home. They all go to the
Yeah.
food courts and eat. So same way, I
That's
never
what.
thought of it. Wow.
It is. So there, you bring dal at home, half kg, and keep it.
Uh,
Instead of that, you buy dal, like you spend
cooked
some
dal, yeah.
within cooked dal within 100 rupees. You can eat, the whole family can eat easily.
And this is good
And there are
quality stuff. Good quality.
very good
People will bring it
quality.
home to eat.
It
Wow.
does, yeah. And so many times people feel that, if you feel the ghee is not nice or the tail is not nice, which is very unreal for
Uh,
Amritsar, they
hmm.
bring boiled dal from a dhaba and put tadka or chonk at home.
Oh,
They do that
I
also.
do that at home. I get my cook Banu to boil the dal and leave it. And then, like today, for example, we are doing dhansak that way. A couple of days
Yeah,
back, I did the green moong tarka, which is a Bengali
yeah.
Punjabi dish.
Bengali,
Boil
yeah.
karlo, then I'll do it.
That's what. So they bring boiled dal from a dhaba and put their own tadka at home, the
Uh,
way you want. So they do that. In Amritsar, we used to do that also. Even so many places you get tandoor walas, give them your atta, they make tandoori roti and give you, or you buy tandoori roti from them and get. So it's much more cheaper and easier to
uh.
eat out there than cooking at home with the whole tam jam. So it's much common there to eat out.
And I went
Uh,
on two food trips to Amritsar in the
uh-huh,
same year. The first one, in fact, was curated by Chef Vikas Khanna, organized by Nokia, if I remember right.
You told
And
me, yeah.
the next one was Chef Kunal Kapoor with the Times Dhaba Trail. And we went to the same places, which was we went to, of course, the Golden Temple for the
Kesar da
langar.
Dhaba.
Then Kesat Ka Dhaba, we went to Kana sweets to the puri aloo in the
Kana
morning.
sweets, yes.
Then we went to the
Bira
gulab jamun
chicken.
guy, bira
Yeah.
chicken. Though bira's fish is
Makhan
also
fish.
better than In fact,
Makhan fish.
mutton in Makhan, I felt that the mutton korma was nicer than the fish. The fish I liked in bira, and
Yeah.
then of course there's the fruit salad, fruit cream,
Fruit salad,
and
fruit cream. Lawrence Road fruit cream.
yeah,
But
and
these are the few places you
and the jalebi
cannot miss.
wala,
And the
jalebi
jalebi and gulab jamun.
and the Lawrence
Khuye wala.
kulcha, and then now kulcha land.
Yeah.
So after that, I've not gone back to Amritsar in a few years because I said I need a bit of a break before I go back.
Yeah, that's what my husband always says. Whenever I go there, I put on 4-5 kgs, and I need a 4-5 years break to go back there.
But down the road, we have friends, the Grovers. So
Mhm.
the husband Manoj is from Bombay. Anu Anuradha, the wife, was Amritsar girl like you. So like she keeps feeding us like parathas and choles and puris and halwa and whatnot. So when did you start cooking?
So,
Were
I
you-
started cooking very early. I can say inspiration, or I can say, the love of food in my family. My mom cooks very well, and I got married to a family who loves food, and my mother-in-law again is a very good cook.
So they're from
And,
Amritsar as well.
no, my in-laws are from Pune.
So but Punjabi or
Yeah, Sardar.
Punjabi is from Sardar.
Yeah. So then I learned most of the basic cooking from my mom, my aunt, and then started cooking very early. I think I was born with that because I was. That's what my mom says, that I was very young and I used to stand on a what do you call that, dori danda, that
Moda in
silbatta.
Bengali.
That's
Acha,
a
silbatta.
silbatta.
Silbatta. Okay.
The silbatta is the round one with the hole inside. I
Yeah.
used to put it
Ah,
ulta
yeah.
and stand on that. And
But
then
that's made of
because I
stone,
was,
no? That's
it
made
is
of stone.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
turned that around. My God.
Turn it around and
Were you
stand
dancing?
on that. That was my favorite thing, and I still have that. My mom gave me that few years back and said that this is yours now. I
You should
used to
check with her.
stand on that.
Maybe you came out of the womb like making kulchas, and serving it to the doctors and the nurses.
Yeah.
Garam kulcha le lo.
Garam kulcha. Yeah, so everybody used to tease me that, we'll get you married to a guy who, makes a lot of ghee or a lot of atta, because I used to love cooking and love eating with ghee. Yeah, that's what, that's my Amritsar days.
And
And then got
is that how it
married.
worked out? Does your husband is in the ghee business?
Yeah, no, not at all.
Only maska to you. Only maska to wife.
To each other. Yeah. So then got married and came to Pune, and then I learned, because my husband always lived in this side, never learned, only till Delhi. And then all of them love food and they're big foodies, and that's how I started learning different cuisines and different food. So wherever we used to travel, suppose we went to Sri Lanka, I went to a Sri Lankan family, lived with them, learned the food from them.
But how? Because I'm assuming you're talking of maybe at least 10-15 years back, all this happening?
No. Sri Lanka came very late. I'm just saying that that's how I learned. I went to Kerala after marriage. I went to Kerala, lived there with the Keralite family. So I always,
you did a sadhya meal. You do sadhya meals also.
Yes, I do
remember.
sadhya meals also. Yes. So whenever we travel, wherever we travel, I keep it in this thing that 1 or 2 days, let's stay.
So how do you find these people? How do you find these people when you go? Like
it's so amazing. It's so amazing. They're so happy to teach you.
Tell us one or two stories. Tell us one or two stories of how it.
Kerala, I went to my friend's aunt's place, friend's mom's sister's place. She's 90 years old, and I told her, I said, I want to learn Kerala cuisine, and she at that age also she was cooking everything on her own, and
Wow.
she taught me in 3 days. 3 days I was there, and 3 days daily she was making new things, and she used to tell me in the evening, tomorrow we'll make this.
Wow.
And it was it was so sweet of her that from scratch she was teaching me everything. So
Wow.
that's the same thing I did it in Sri Lanka also. It through friend, they introduced me, and then I told her. So I went there just for a day
Huh.
in that house, and very nicely, happily. Language was a little problem, but happily she taught me everything. That's what I said. I never had this problem that okay, fine, I will hide few things and not teach few things. So that's how I learned most of the cuisines. That's how I read books,
And
cooking
are you
books
in touch with
mainly
some of
at
thsont
all.
people?
I
Like
do.
are you
I
still in
am.
touch with them?
I am. I am in touch with the Sri Lankan people also, with the Kerala people. I I talk to her through my friend because language.
But so
So
do they know that how, like, what you've learned, all the lovely food
yes,
you're doing?
I send them. I send them the
And
menu. I
how
show
do they
them the
feel?
menu that
How do they feel when they get that?
they feel very proud.
I'm s-
Therefore, we feel very proud that it's not that you learned just for learning. You're following that what you learned and what you're doing. So they feel very happy about that.
this is so lovely. Like, I mean, all of us are missing traveling right now, and I feel that during my travels, I've met some really lovely people, and
Yeah,
and one has always connected through food. Like, it could have been just holidays. I could have gone for a market research work, but
yeah,
just started chatting with someone or some colleague over there. Like I said, not from food industry necessarily, but then you'd have these bonds of friendships. But now we can't do that. We can
not
travel.
at
We can
all.
barely travel within our own
Yeah,
country. That too only for emergencies, not other thing. But through those bonds which you created then, you are actually all connected, and you're in a way
you
bringing their flavors here.
Yeah, I never broke that bond. I
How lovely.
always stayed in touch with them. So that's a big thing because they are also in touch with me. They never showed that thing on a phone also that why you disturbing us. Never. That never happened. So you get the same kind of response, and you don't mind doing that. And whenever I got stuck somewhere, or I tried doing something new, I checked with them. I googled. Uh, Google, you don't get everything correct.
No,
So
no, and you don't really know the.
yeah,
No, I know what
you
I
can't trust. You can't
and
trust.
in the what I was thinking was just yesterday I was on Twitter chatting with a friend of mine who now lives in Malaysia, and she was feeling a bit low because the Malaysia counts are going up and all that. So which means that across the world people are going through this stress. So these friends with whom you made, like, I'm sure they're facing their challenges and difficulties,
Yes, of
but
course. Yeah,
seeing what you are doing and the
yeah.
respect you're giving to their food and the
Yeah.
time they spend with you, I'm sure they must be feeling good also.
They do. That's what. See, in Goa, there is one shack, which is a very lonely shack, and he got friends with the shack guy. And I asked him about Goan recipes, and he made in front of me and gave it to me. And then
Wow.
later on, we went next day again, and he came to me. He said, "I want to learn the Punjabi chicken. Can you teach me?" I said, "Of course. Why not? I
And
will." And I actually cooked Punjabi chicken in that shack. It was
oh,
so
then
amazing.
his business would have grown because there's a lot of demand for
Yeah,
Punjabi
because
food in Goa because of all the
yeah,
foreigners and all
yeah,
that.
he told me. He said that a lot of people come, like foreigners come, and they
And now
ask
all the
for chicken
Delhiites,
curry.
after,
And the
when they're
Delhiites,
not,
yeah,
they're more the Delhiites in Goa than in Gurgaon.
absolutely,
In recent years. I'm not sure
absolutely.
whether that's a
And
good thing or not, but
no, no, it's not. But
we
it's
won't say that. We won't create scandals and
especially
controversy.
no, no, especially during this time, monsoon
Uh,
time, you see, because it's a holiday time in Delhi side, so you see a lot of Delhi people there. So they do
Delhi's
they yeah.
Delhi's always Irish, so it's
So
it's
as
always always
always,
there.
always.
Yes, there's always a bit of Bombay Delhi rivalry. Okay, so now tell me, in Amritsar you started cooking, inspired by your mom, peeping up. In fact, my little younger kitten Nimki is doing that. He's like, you can't see him, but he's standing up and trying to get my attention.
Same here.
Like,
My dog is keeps coming and going that he wants to jump here, so I'm saying,
no, let him jump. Like in our show, cats, dogs, boys,
yeah.
girls,
She
everyone
will
jump.
come. She'll come behind me after some
Udapasi
time
for
and
her
she'll
is a
jump.
full zoo, human and animal
Yeah.
zoo. Everything is we've had, everything. So you learned cooking then as a kid, then got married to a Punjabi family who's maybe a bit more well traveled, and you were
Yeah, yeah.
interested in
Very well traveled. My
uh,
father-in-law was a banker. So after 2 years, 3 years postings, that's the reason my husband lived in Calcutta, because my father-in-law was posted there. So they lived in Chandigarh, Delhi, Calcutta, a lot of places, Chennai. So because of that, my mother-in-law knew a lot of cooking and a lot of different cuisines. So I learned a lot of stuff from her
oh, so
after
you
marriage.
learned non-Punjabi cooking from your mom-in-law.
For mom-in-law, yeah.
How cool!
So a
Give
lot
us
of
some dishes,
other,
some
so a
examples of
lot
what
of.
you learned.
I got married, went to my in-laws' place. That time they were in Chennai and we
Huh,
were in Pune. So I went to
huh,
her the first time and she cooked apple pie and
huh,
baked vegetable, which was new for me.
huh.
And she said that, these two dishes are my husband's favorite dishes. So I thought I'll teach you how to make. So that's how I learned apple pie. So apple pie I learned from my mother-in-law, and
Wow.
it's my hot selling thing
I know.
today.
Do you give her royalty? Maybe by giving us some of the apple pie. So I must tell you my Punjabi story. So when I came to Bombay, I was staying as a PG in a Punjabi household, and they were vegetarian. And I think once when I had your vegetarian meal, or maybe it was a mix of veg and non-veg, but I told you that some of the vegetarian food reminded me of what we
Yes,
used to eat there. So this the husband's brother lived in Kerala, so they would often go to Kerala over the years. So often on breakfast there would be idlis. So I would say, like, what sort of Punjabis are you? Why are they idlis for breakfast? But
yeah.
they were very into idlis. I'm just trying to let Nimki out. So then, when did this sort of interest to become a sort of a home chef, or transform this into a sort of commercial venture? When did this happen? Because it was actually well before the current home chef
It
revolution,
is
in a
much
sense.
before. It's
So how did the
almost
idea
like
happen? Yeah,
20 years back. I started this
20
in
years.
Pune only. Yeah,
Oh
I
wow.
started this in Pune.
Hmm.
It was just, after my both the daughters, they were like, fine, all family thing is done.
Huh, huh.
Now I can think of something else. So yeah, one fine day I was just sitting with my husband and I was telling him that, I want to start this. I'm thinking of doing this. So he said, go ahead, why not? My brother loves cooking, and then I checked with him. That time he was also in Pune. So we both just, me and my brother, just fine. One day we said, okay, fine, let's do weekend brunch parathas, stuffed parathas.
Wow.
So we knew that we are good in that, so let's start with that. And
And which part
it's
of Pune were you in?
good.
Which part of
That
Pune?
time we were at close to Konakpuram side, that side,
Because I remember once going to Pune to a
NIBM
place
side,
near
NIBM
the
side.
near the
Sorry.
colleges where there was one
No,
small
no, I was
shop.
not close to the
Uh,
colleges.
there was one small shop which specialized in parathas, and the college guys used to go. I'd gone to do a focus group,
Yeah,
and
I
then I
know.
went there for parathas.
I know
It's a
this
small
place.
corner
Yes,
shop, and they make.
yes,
I'd gone there many years back, so I
yes.
don't remember
I
much
know.
about.
I
Uh,
even I don't remember the name of that place,
uh,
but even I've been
I
to
don't
that
even know
place.
if it had a
That
name.
place is, it is there is a name for that because that place is very famous for stuffed
Parathas,
parathas.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So when I went there, I had paratha. I said, "This is not paratha. Parathas we make." So yeah, so that's how I started with weekend parathas, stuffed parathas, and it did very well.
And but how did you market it? I mean, there was hardly any social media
Nothing.
there.
There was no social media,
So how do you
and
market it?
we made the pamphlets.
Ah,
We made the pamphlets with a small menu and with the phone number, and said that, that time even the phones were not like so big that,
yeah, yeah.
you can spread the
And we used
message.
to have all these
It was
menu cards and put
only
it in a file, all these pamphlets like this,
yes,
file mein
yes,
rakhe, and we
yeah.
call up.
So
Yeah.
we put it in the newspaper. We distributed on our own self in the societies, in the gardens. mothers and children playing, give it to them, give it to the watchman, that give it to everyone. That's how we promoted our business that time, because we were very new and we didn't know what to do. We just did that, but got good response. And slowly started with that only weekend breakfast.
So I don't know if through the FBI things or this thing, have you ever met Doma Wang of Calcutta? Doma Wang. So she also comes to the FBI meets and stuff like that. So she runs this Blue Poppy Thakali in Calcutta. So she was also on Foodocracy for her, and she was saying that she'd also started. There's a place called Salt Lake, so she decided to make momos, and she and a friend went on a scooter, and with flyers like this, sticking it everywhere, and that's how they first.
That's what we did.
It
That's
reminded
what we
me.
did. Yeah, that's what we did.
And how was the response to the?
The response was very good. That's what I said. The response we got was very good, and we were very surprised that it's doing well. So we should increase it now. Then my brother got his job and got busy, but I didn't leave that. I continued with that, and then slowly started with small menu during the week also. Then few girls came up with this, that they want they're traveling to abroad and for studies, so they want to learn cooking. Then I started taking cooking classes for these children who are traveling abroad and
What the Punjabis or Maharashtrians or mixed?
Also, yeah. So Pune is very cosmopolitan, so all mixed crowd was there.
Yeah, there are different faces. Like the Pune city is very orthodox Maharashtrian.
Yes.
And then there are parts which are very student oriented, IT and all of that.
Yeah. So that's how then I started taking cooking classes side by side, twice a week cooking classes, and otherwise just business. Then I realized that I need to learn more to do business aage, and I never stopped. Wherever we traveled to Hyderabad, we traveled to Bangalore, wherever we traveled, I never stopped. We used to go there, settle down, and I used to start my work. That's how I started Ravi's Kitchen.
And what was the goal? Like, was it? I'm guessing it was not really that finance driven at the beginning.
No,
your husband was working and all that. So what was it that made you do
it? It was
the
passion. It was the passion. It was I used to, I still do. I love cooking. I can stand. These days I stand in my kitchen whole day. I start at around 5 o'clock in the morning, and then I'm there till afternoon for lunch orders and till like start in the evening. And
so you don't care if the government doesn't open the saunas and spas because you're in the sauna all day.
Yeah, I am. So yeah, it was always a passion behind this. Nothing else.
And the passion is for cooking. It doesn't matter what type of food or cooking. Like for example, for some people it's about their home Punjabi food or Kerala food. For you, it's cooking and feeding.
For me, passion was only cooking. Then much later, when we shifted to Bombay, it was always in my mind. This was my dream to open a cloud kitchen or a small place where I can do weekly menus. All menus and change those menus after week or 10 days or 2 menus in a month. Then the lockdown happened and I fulfilled my dream.
And that's interesting because compared to Pune, Mumbai is the city of commerce, the city of dream, the city of entrepreneurs, of everything. So I
started my pickle business in Bombay.
Yes.
That I started. Earlier, I used to make pickles just for friends and family, but never sold. And it's a saying that you can't gift pickles. So they used to give me like 5 rupees, 10 rupees. That you should not sell. You should not gift pickles. It's a saying that.
Like in Bengali, like handkerchief. Handkerchief, you'll please give us.
You can't gift. Yes.
Achha, what's the name of our friend over there? What's the name of our?
Eve, come here.
My boys, Loaf and Nimki, were eating over there. Now one of them is there. I don't know if they can be seen somewhere they're eating.
We see your cats everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
So that's then
s-
we shifted to Bombay, and in Bombay also I was gifting pickles to my friends and all.
hmm,
That's how then they started ordering that the mango season make a 5 kg pickle for me.
wow.
That's when I started the pickle business.
Five
Then I
kgs
started
pickle is
with
a
a
lot of pickle. Five
lot of
kilos of
pickle,
it is a
lot of
lot.
pickle. I make around 50 kgs of mango pickle every year.
Ah, but I want to see the person who
So
eats 5 kgs of pickle in a year. But
people do,
even I
people
love
do.
pickles.
Yeah,
I love
people
pickles.
do.
Yes,
I
yes.
remember my mom I started making pickles because of my mom, because my mom always used to make this. She still does
Uh,
pickles at home. Even my mother-in-law, they
uh,
they make pickles at home. So basic pickle, mirchi, nimbu, and mango
the,
pickle, they
then the
always make at
gobi
home.
gacha in
And
winter.
the winters, gobi, gajar, shalgam,
Hmm.
amla, these basic pickles they always make at home. I picked up from my mom only that pickles are supposed to make at home and not to buy from outside. So that's how it came up, and that's how I started making all the pickles. Yeah.
Now loaf has
So,
come.
but
Yes. So we interviewed
and nice name. Yeah.
the ladies from Mars Pickle also photography for her, and they're based in Nainital. If I remember that. So they also like that, like making pickles from home and everything by hand, and you know.
Yeah.
So when did this transition to herbs and spices happen?
So the herbs and spices transition came with the pickles. I started selling pickles. I started the brand. Then I wanted to, bottle properly and
Yeah, yeah.
properly sell the pickles. Then the herbs and spices came in the picture that, the pickle business is herbs and spices.
And and
So
uh, and, and 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 are you now operating out of a cloud kitchen or out of
no,
a?
I'm still operating from home. When this thought came of the cloud kitchen, immediately in like 2 3 months, lockdown happened. In
But
a which
so
I
many
feel
people. No, sorry, what do you say?
thankful. I
Yeah,
said
I mean,
I feel very thankful that I didn't open it that time, because the lockdown was pretty bad, and whoever opened at that time went into big losses. So I'm
hmm.
still working from home, my own kitchen, and it's doing well. I feel that that way I can take care of the home also and take care of my
And you also
own
feel
business
safer.
also.
You also feel
I feel
safer than.
safer. Yes,
No, but so many people. I remember I was interviewing Ananya Banerjee, and
yeah,
she said that just before the lockdown, she'd almost signed her cloud
yeah,
kitchen deal, and she and
yeah.
Abhilasha, this thing, and then it got delayed, and so now she's also
The
operating out of
same thing,
home.
same thing happened with me. I
And
was
she
just
said the same
looking for
thing that the
cheaper
money would have
places.
got sunk
Yeah,
otherwise.
yeah, yeah. So when the whole
But
thing
but
happened, then I was very, happy in a way that I didn't start it, because whoever started it, it went into like they were shut down. And that time it's so difficult because you don't know what to do with the
true.
whole. You can't bring that kitchen home. That's all professional. You can't make that as a home kitchen.
And
So
investments
that's
in Bombay are pretty high.
an invest very
Everywhere,
high.
like Delhi,
Yeah,
Bangalore, Calcutta.
everywhere.
I mean,
Yeah,
real
everywhere.
estate all over India is pretty
Very high.
expensive.
Yeah.
So, but tell me now, Indrapreet, you're someone who is open almost through the week. Like there are home chefs who do it only on weekends or offer menus only on Saturdays, Sundays, or maybe a Thursday. You are doing it through the week, and large orders and large quantities and this that. So, how do you sort of manage this out of home? Because when you're home, doggy's there, husband's there, house help is there, the bell is ringing all the time. So how do you bring in that discipline?
It's difficult. It's very difficult. But somehow the family also understands, and I have a house help also. So I have a live-in with me, one girl who stays with me. So then that's a big help, because
Hmm.
lockdown is so difficult to bring the house help from outside. That's one big help I have. But I start my weekly menus from Wednesday till Sunday. And
Hmm.
Monday and Tuesday, I keep it open for the open orders. For like sometimes people have their own private parties.
Yeah, yeah.
I designed the menu for those parties on Monday and Tuesday, and I hold those parties for like I do that for other days also.
Oh, I
But
was about to
Monday and
ask that.
Tuesday,
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that for other days also.
But
But
you do the
Monday and
planning.
Tuesday, basically. Yeah, Monday and Tuesday, basically, I do it for only for private parties. I don't take my weekly orders on that day. I post
And
the menu only on Monday, and Wednesday I start delivering till Sunday.
and what about procurement, like vegetables, spices, meat, fish, and all that, with the lockdown and so many restrictions? So and you're so conscious about the quality. So how have you created any sort of system to help you for
So
that?
if you've seen during lockdown, earlier before the lockdown, we never had so many vendors of seafood or any non-veg. Now
Yes.
suddenly there are so many seafood suppliers, so many. I mean, I have some 5 6 vendors with me, which are like always there. If one doesn't have anything, I go to the other one. The same way I made a relationship with meat people, chicken, seafood, veggies. Veggies mostly I prefer going to Dadar. I used to go to Dadar only to pick up all my vegetables. But now I have a fixed guy there who keeps it ready. I call him, he keeps
At
everything
Dadar.
ready at Dadar. And then I send my person who can just goes there, pick up the stuff and come. So there is one good thing because of lockdown. Everything is easily coming home for all
That's true,
the
huh?
yeah for all the packing material. Earlier I used to go to Crawford Market to bring all
Hmm.
the stuff. They never used to say that okay fine we'll do the home delivery. Now they say happily you order, we'll come home and give it to you. So that
Hmm.
there are plus and minus of the COVID, but yeah, this is the plus that I found a lot of good vendors, good people who does my work and who brings the stuff at home.
And also I'm just trying to understand that when a home chef works versus when a restaurant, like in a restaurant, the recipes are written down, portions, this, that, whatever. Now, since you're someone who's doing it day in and day out, and often there are repeat menus, repeat customers, so they would probably want some level of consistency. So, do you also keep some system, or do you go to the kitchen and do your thing?
That's the most difficult part for me.
No, because
I
our
don't
our
have.
our way of cooking is to go to the kitchen, see what's there, and start cooking. No, you will not, yeah.
See, that happens with your day-to-day cooking, but when you have a fixed menu for a week, so for that menu week ingredients, I always keep it ready in my fridge. But writing down the recipes, I'm very bad in that.
Uh,
I go with the
Thoda
hard
sambar.
cards. Yeah,
But some of
I
the big
don't.
chefs in five-star hotels and all that, they've also told me that the final thing is a bit of, especially when they're doing it. I guess when the staff is doing it, then there's standardization. But in this case, you're the executive chef, come F&B manager. So, but tell me, like from being someone who, from what I understand, you've not been to culinary school or hotel management or anything like that. So when you moved into a slightly more commercial way of cooking, like in large volumes or packaging, inventory, portioning, and all of that, how did you learn? Was there anyone who helped you, or is it more intuitively? Did you learn by the job?
I actually learned by the job. But at the same time, when I have one or two chef friends, one is in Dubai, very close friends. So like I'm literally like stuck. Then I check with him.
Uh,
But mostly it's with your experience and with your. Sometimes I make a dish and see that how much I spent, and accordingly I charge and do the portioning. A lot of times I fail. I serve the food and do everything, and I feel that I didn't
I
charge
don't think
properly,
Punjabis can
but that is
portion.
okay. No, it's
Punjabis
so
can, or
difficult.
even Indians. Indians in generally can't portion. No,
Very
like I think
difficult. No.
thoda और खा लो. Like
Yeah, it's
every
so my
community.
in my packing also it is like that. So sometimes my husband says also that when you pack, keep it to the same portioning, because if you are putting today this much, tomorrow that much, sometimes people feel that आज तो इतना आया कल ज्यादा आया था.
No, not only that.
So
If there are two neighbors who order, Mr. Mrs. Sharma and Mrs. Verma, two
Yeah,
next door neighbors.
they
And
can
अच्छा मैं
discuss.
ये order किया, अरे ये क्या हुआ? मेरा इतना कम क्यों है?
Yeah. So I learned with experience that these things are not okay. If it's, I generally forget that I have to keep the bowl of the weighing scale to put the stuff. So I made size accordingly. That this size bowl is for this meal, this size bowl. It's better that way than measuring it because
Yeah,
measuring I
katori. No,
always forget.
that's what works for us
Yeah,
Indians. Katori,
yeah,
chammach.
yeah.
Even if you ask your grandmoms and all for recipes,
They
they'll
do, yeah.
yeah,
So I followed that only, and I'm continuing also in packing.
Sometimes they're
Also, I'm doing
dietitians
that.
also. I remember in the past, I've gone to dietitians who would give you the katori sizes and say when you mean small katori is this
I
small.
went to a dietitian. She gave me the katori. She
Ah,
said, "This is the size of the katori, and you have to eat that much."
maybe the same one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So now, and you do such varied menus. Like I said, British, Singaporean, Kerala, Sri Lankan, Punjabi. You then in between if I remember right, you were doing a thali thing one after the other,
Yes. So
including
I did
Bengali. This that.
last month I did every weekend was a thali. I did Rajasthani thali, I did Kerala thali, I did Bengali thali,
Yeah.
and I did Punjabi thali.
So what
So the
excites you
whole
about the
month.
thali? Why thali?
I love that was my personal thing. I love setting the whole, designing the whole menu. Whenever I
Huh,
have a party at home, I never make a mixed cuisine. It
huh,
should, for me, it's like always, if it's one cuisine
huh.
from starters to dessert, it should be one cuisine. So everything should be same. And I love traditional thalis. That's like whenever we travel or whenever we go out, and
Hmm.
if it's a thali, I prefer going in the afternoon because we eat a lot in the thali. So then that's when the thought came in my mind that I should uh, I before COVID I did one YouTube video on like some 30-40 different types of thalis.
One video.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's
Like one
there
after
on
the other.
YouTube,
Yeah.
one
Wow.
after the other. I just check the thalis and the pictures are just
And
there.
your
So
YouTube
I
channel is what's it called? Yeah,
Ramesh's Kitchen, herbs and
Ramesh.
spices, same thing. Yeah. So then yeah, that's the thought came from that only that I should put this in the menu also, and it did well. It did very well. Rajasthani thali and Bengali thali did very well, and then the Malwani thali came up, and that also was did very well.
So
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 that
did
I
the did
stopped.
Bengalis also order the Bengali thali?
Yes, surprisingly, the Bengalis also order. I feel very when
Because
people eat
Bengalis are
and they
very
say that this
judgmental.
is very.
Bengalis are very judgmental about
I think every cuisine. If I'm a Punjabi, if you give me a butter chicken or dal, I'm very judgmental.
but at least on your face, the Punjabis will smile and say, "Ah, ठीक है."
No, that is fine. That is fine. But I am very judgmental about that. Okay, fine. This is not good. So that's the reason we don't eat Punjabi food outside. I feel that it's not the Punjabi food we eat. So let's not eat Punjabi food outside.
Now, I want
Uh,
to
yeah.
ask you from a branding point of view. You have herbs and spices for pickles and all that, and then you have Rami's Kitchen. So, do you find it difficult to manage, or it's
It
okay?
is difficult now. I keep thinking that I should just close one and continue to one only. So slowly it will be herbs and spices only. But
Herbs
lot
and
of
spices.
old my customers, they know me as Rami and Rami's Kitchen, so that's still going on. But yeah, it will be herbs and spices.
Okay. Now, the other thing I'm interested to know is that during the lockdown, we came across a lot of people who were serving food from their own native cuisine, whether Rajasthani, Parsi, Keralite, and so on. And the expectation was that because they belong to that community, there would be a certain amount of authenticity. But you are presenting food from all over India.
Yeah.
So how do you sort of win over your customers' confidence that yes, I mean, while I'm Punjabi, I can actually make a Keralite, Malwani, or Bengali thali. So, I
So the
mean, why will people believe you? Because there are also people doing now Malwani food,
yes, of
Bengali
course.
food, Keralite food.
So
So, why will
when
they come to Inderpreet?
so when I was doing all the traditional thalis, and as I said, I made Bengali also and Rajasthani also. So both the times, food went to a Bengali house and food went to a Rajasthani house. Both the people, they didn't know that I'm a Punjabi. They actually, in fact, later on, from a Keralite person also, it came to me as I am a Keralite.
Oh
He
God, now
actually
they'll see this
called.
video. Now they'll see this video and then,
Now they
oh
know.
God, I hope I've not created problems for you.
Now they know. So
Yeah.
he called me and he said that I'm sure you're a Keralite because the food was very authentic. And it gives me a lot of these kind of feedbacks, gives me a lot of encouragement to do much more because I feel that, I did something right.
Yes.
I'm on the right track, what I'm doing, and I'm not doing anything wrong. And it was very nice of him to call and say that. I said, no, I'm not a Keralite, I'm a Sardarni. Not even a Punjabi, I'm a Sardarni. So he was very surprised that a Sardarni or a Punjabi can make Kerala food. Same thing happened with the Bengali meal also. In fact, I was scared to send it to you.
No, no, I'm
But
very happy if
the
anyone
feedback.
sends me food. Like, no one should feel scared of sending. Please send.
Yeah. So next, I'm
Yeah.
planning to do Parsi, so then I will send it.
No, Parsi, I might be a more stricter judge than my wife is
I'm
for
sure.
Parsi food.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yeah, that's
So
okay.
yeah, so that's when the Bengali or Rajasthani female called me and she said that the food was very good and it was very authentic what we get there. I mean, before the lockdown, I went to Rajasthan also, and there also I learned from the
Wow.
locals. So that's I'm doing that means only which I am sure that I can do it and which I learned from those local people. I'm not following only Google or YouTube and then
Yeah.
doing
And
it.
even within locals, like everyone will have their own style of
Yeah,
cooking, like I'm sure.
absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. Even crabs. So I did lot of crabs. Like
Imagine a Punjabi cooking crab. I
crabs.
mean, I'm sure Vineet Bhatia
Arey,
knows
I'll tell you a
about.
story of crabs.
Hmm.
I got married, came to Bombay to my husband's mama's place first time, and he felt that I should take them to a very good, authentic food place. He took us to town Mahesh.
Nice. And the big
Bharat,
crab.
I don't know. Oh my
Could be
God, the big
Bharat Excellency, I
Bharat,
think.
I think it was.
Yeah, Bharat Excellency. Yes.
Yeah. So the big crab came on table. That was the first time I saw cooked crab in front of me. I couldn't eat. I didn't touch that crab, and he felt so bad, but I couldn't touch.
The most expensive thing on the like.
Very, very
Your husband
expensive
must be a
crab.
very
He
favorite
so bad.
nephew of
No,
his.
he loves. And
No, I'm saying a
crab
husband
is
must be
his
a very
favorite
favorite
meat.
nephew of the mama. Favorite nephew of the mama for the mama to order the crab for
Yeah, yeah.
daughter-in-law.
So he enjoyed it. Both of them, in fact, enjoyed it. I just sat and looked at them. I didn't even taste it. Then
And now
later,
you're doing crab menus.
I love crab. That's my favorite meat. I don't like lobsters much, but I love crab. Now I do weekend crabs only. Only Saturday and Sunday I keep crab menu, and
Hmm.
I keep only two, three types of preparations, and I do full big size 1 kg plus crab. And there are weekends I cook some 20, 25 crabs.
Wow.
Yeah. So it used to come in a like big box live crabs, and I am making those.
Hmm.
I feel great fun in
Wow.
making crabs, and I do everything on my own. I bring life, and then I sometimes I put them in hibernation. Otherwise, I just put them in like if it's a larger
Yeah,
quantity,
yeah.
straight in the water,
Huh.
and then clean crabs, and then
And what are the preparations you do?
I do Singapore chili crab. I do the green sauce Malwani crab. I do
Okay.
Goan curry crab.
Malwani, I think they call Hirwa or something, no? The green one.
Yeah,
And some
yeah,
places, I mean, yeah.
yeah.
Everything.
So
Wow.
I do like
And then you
clean.
send it out whole or you break it and then you send it out?
No, I clean it. I bake the whole, break the crab. When I clean it, I break the crab. So, but it goes as a whole crab, like
Yeah.
full body and the claws and the legs. So
Yeah, even
people,
in
I
Mahesh and
take
all, they serve
orders.
it like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So people take the full crab. I take orders of full crab. I don't
One
take
crab. Yeah.
like one crab. Yeah. I don't take half crab. I don't take like portion of crab. So it's always a full crab.
So, of your different menus, do you think there are a few which are a bit more successful than the others?
It is one is the crab. It's very successful. Whenever I bring weekend crab weekend, it's always packed. The other thing is very successful is pork.
Pork.
Yeah, it's I never thought that pork will do so well. Even I did bar bank with FDI that time. So
Yeah.
someone, so
That was
yeah,
slightly in between the pandemic, no?
pandemic.
Yeah,
Yes, the
because we
pandemic
was
opened and we started there,
yeah
and
we were
then
not really
it
going
came.
out, so we didn't go then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it came back again. The lockdown happened again, and then it shut down. So that time also, it was a double thinking that they said that I don't know if people will eat pork because there is no food truck serving pork there. But the pork did very well.
And
Even
what
at home
preparations?
also.
What
In
preparations?
pork, I do pork chops, pork ribs, Indian style. Then I do recently I did steaks, all different types of steaks. So in that I did pork chops with margarita. Sorry, not margarita. The tomato-based drink, Bloody Mary.
Vladimir, yes. Margarita's
Yeah.
the
So
pizza.
I did, yeah. So I did Bloody Mary sauce with
Wow.
pork chops.
And some of these are like your ideas, is it?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
combining it with the Bloody Mary or
Combining
something.
this boozy steak week, what I did last was all mix and match of things, ingredients, and I did red wine, lamb crack. I did Jack Daniel beef steak. So
Wow.
that's how I divided. Like it was boozy, so every steak was with different booze.
Wow.
So pork ribs was pork chops was with vodka.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now, this pandemic must have been very different from, working earlier. So what are the lessons you think which you got, after the pandemic or through the pandemic in terms of doing business? Are there, what has the pandemic taught you, which you'd like to share with people?
Yeah, it actually, a lot of learning in this, a lot of different cuisine, lot of people's taste. Uh, in this whole thing, I learned that people still go for different plus traditional food. So it's both ways. People look for different stuff, but at the same time, very traditional also. So when I did saag and makki ki roti, it went, it did very well because nobody was serving saag and makki ki roti.
In fact, I
So
shared it with
it
a
was
friend of ours, Shashwati, who's grown up in Delhi. She
Mhm.
said it
Yeah,
reminded her of, I told you, what her neighboring aunties
I
used
know.
to
Told
serve
me.
her.
Yes. So in desserts, eclairs. Lot of eclairs in the market. It's not that nobody's making eclairs, but my eclairs in dessert section, whenever it comes, it goes very well. So the learning, I learned people's taste, behavior, ordering. A lot of times I feel that this is good and this will do well, and I introduce the menu, but sometimes it's a complete no-no. And these are the things because that time only I am thinking that fine, this is good and I will do that. But this way you learn people's mind also, people's taste and choice also. So pandemic taught me a lot of learning about taste and different food and meeting people and learning from them.
And at a time when you are working from home. In fact, I wanted to ask
And
you that given that, earlier there were different things happening in life versus a year and a half of being home, do you think that your work life has become more active during the pandemic?
it is.
Yeah.
It is. So pandemic is good and bad both. So
Huh.
if I look at my work and look at my
Bad
business,
everyone knows,
pandemic,
but to know that there's something
yeah,
good in the pandemic is
bad,
interesting.
everyone knows what bad it is. But good is this, that pandemic helped my business grow a lot. So first year was, it was very hard lockdown and people were not going out at all. Restaurants were
Hmm.
completely shut. people were tired of cooking at home on their own and eating, and that's
Yes.
how the home chefs came in the picture.
Hmm.
That's how all the home chefs started. A lot of people, in fact, they were working, but they stopped that and started the home chef.
Yes. Yes.
So a lot of new home chefs also came
Yes.
up during
Yes.
pandemic. Yeah,
Yeah. Lots.
so
Lots.
lots.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is, in fact, when I say that it's not the same like last year. This is also another reason because people want to try different home chefs. So
Hmm.
they can't order from one person every time. So they have
And
lot
there's
of
only so much
choice.
one can eat. Yes. Like
Yeah,
even people
I
like
mean,
us. I mean, say if you want to experiment on a Sunday and have like
yeah.
ghar ka khana on another day, and how much food can you eat on Sunday?
How
So
much food? That's
yeah.
true. I mean, they can't order daily. They can only order maybe Saturday, Sunday, or weekend or whatever. But and how much?
How many people? There are so many.
And yeah.
Oh, one second. I can't hear you.
Well, that's great to know that that the pandemic actually allowed your business to grow and so much learning which will come of use in the future. And like you said, that the market's changed because there's more competition. Restaurants are back. There are more home chefs. So
There's a lot of competition now in the market, and there are a lot of, because there are so many home chefs, and everybody is, earlier, as you said, that people are, doing their own cuisine, or only
yeah,
doing desserts, or only doing cakes, or only doing one cuisine. If you notice now, those people also started introducing different stuff.
yes,
They also started with different menus. They also come up with one menu, and then after few days or weeks, they have a different menu. So a lot of people, lot of other chefs have been noticing, earlier they were doing only one menu, now they have different stuff.
yeah. I mean, not everyone can be a Bukhara, no? So it's the same menu for 30 years or something. Okay, so now what are your future plans?
I'm going to continue this. I will never stop. This is my passion, and I love doing this. And the future is that till the time this pandemic is there, till the time the market is not open fully, because once it's opened, in between that time also, this came in my mind that I
Yeah.
again look for a kitchen and move my work there. But I'm not going to do that because it came back the same thing. So yeah, I am planning to open. My actual dream is to open a little bigger place than just a cloud kitchen, where I can do pop-ups also, and I can do home deliveries also, and sometimes, you know, cooking sessions with kids, or with, I started doing that, if you've seen that. I
Yeah,
love.
yeah, you had, and also you. That's how you used to do years back. Remember teaching those
Yes,
girls in
I
Pune?
love doing that. In between, I did it online classes also, but it's much more fun and learning when you are doing it with somebody physically, not virtual class.
Yes.
So yeah, so I'm doing it with kids also now. So that's my future plan or future dream, to do that. That open a place, proper place, with where I can do these things. Yeah.
And so where all can people find out about your menu on Instagram?
On
Uh,
Instagram, it's when I post on Monday, my menu, Monday or
so
Tuesday.
Rumi's
Post
Kitchen
there.
is
Yes.
Rumi's Kitchen is the
On
Instagram.
this Instagram page, or Rami's Kitchen, it opens with both.
Ah,
And Herbs and Spices Instagram,
yeah,
and Facebook also same.
yeah. And plus your regular customers also on your WhatsApp
Yeah, that
broadcast.
I have broadcast list, and in fact, people do come and say, message on Instagram and say that add me in the broadcast. So that's how I have a broadcast list. And whenever I open my menu, I put it in broadcast also, and I put it on all social media.
And deliveries are across Mumbai, right? Now, because now that's not it.
I have Colaba also. I have a lot of customers in Thane also. So it's little difficult when you see the time, and especially during this weather. So that, I tell them always that time is a big problem, because sometimes the weather is bad, sometimes the we fast guys are bad. So those are the
But
problems.
it's thanks to them we eventually get the
Yeah,
food.
really, they are doing a very good job. We fast or Dunzo, whatever. I mean, they're very good people.
True.
So our business is because of them.
True. Yes, it's a wonderful ecosystem. And folks, if you're in Mumbai, or if you're watching this anywhere in the world,
Yeah.
and if you have near and dear ones in Mumbai, you want to send, I can't say what food, because it could be Punjabi, Malwani, Sri Lankan, Kerala, British, Singaporean, whatever. But Rami, Indrapreet Nagpal, also herbs and spices, is your person. So thanks very much.
Always in Bombay, but pickles I do supply all over India.
Pickles are all over India as well. So
And preserves and jams all over India. I have a lot of customers in Delhi who order pickles.
and if you're in Bombay, and missing kanji from the north, kala gajar ka kanji, she sends that also in massive bottles. So that's also there.
That is the seasonal thing. Every winters that comes.
Thank you. So thanks so much, folks, for watching. Thanks for sharing so many learnings from your life, Rami. I have to Indrapreet. and folks, please share this video so that people know about the lovely work she's doing, the lovely food she's cooking, and can have some lovely meals.
Thank
Thank you.
William.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot for inviting me.
No,
Time.
absolutely.
I had a good time during Baisakhi also, and shared my culture with you and
It's so lovely.
about my business. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And I must say, you're always as sweet as the sugarcane, which is so sought after doing by Saki, like you said. But always a pleasure. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.